How's it going, guys? It's Adam here, and today is a video about all of my smartphones in my collection. I don't actually think I've done one of these in probably like 3 years, so it's definitely long overdue. But yeah, anyways, let's get started. We have probably about 30 phones, I guess. But yeah, let's just go over all of them. So first in my collection is the OnePlus 7 Pro, and this is fully working. It does have a tiny crack at the bottom, but overall it's basically perfect. There's nothing really wrong with it. This is probably my best phone in the collection, just because it is with a Snapdragon 855. It has 8 gigabytes of RAM. No other phone in this pile has 8 gigabytes of RAM, so pretty good. I like everything about this. I would totally use this as a daily, but I do like iMessage, so yeah, I did get this for about 90 bucks, I think, on Mercari, and it was a great deal. Been using this as a secondary phone, and it's basically perfect. Next in my collection, I have a Realme 6. So this is a pretty good phone. I mean, this is definitely like probably my second best phone. It has, I believe, a Helio G95. I could be wrong, but it does have a Helio series chipset, and it has 4 cameras. And I believe the main camera is 64 megapixels, so not bad. Obviously, megapixels don't mean everything, but it is a pretty good phone, fully working. I do like how good the screen is, honestly. I mean, obviously, there's kind of some bezels and stuff like that, but it is a really nice phone. Glad to have it, and I definitely do like that back design. Would also definitely use this as a main phone if I just, doesn't have iMessage on it. So, yeah, but I do definitely like this phone a lot. No complaints with this one. So yeah. Next up, and I don't think this is on, so but it is a fully working phone. It is my recently acquired Moto G Stylus 2021, and it is pretty good. I like a lot of things about it. It is a bit slow, but I do like that it does have a really good camera, and I do like that it does have a stylus, for sure. Also, fingerprint scanner on the side. Lots of good things about it. Might do a review on this soon. Bezels are pretty good too, honestly. Probably wouldn't use this as a main phone, but definitely I do use this as a secondary phone just because of the slower Snapdragon 675 processor, I believe. But honestly, this is a pretty great phone in my collection, and definitely like this phone a lot. So yeah, now let's go on to this. If you don't know what this is actually a phone that I basically made. It was a bit, it was kind of a bit of a drop ship kind of phone, but I did make some parts of it. First of all, actually, the main thing is the core phone logo. That is fully on there, logo right there. And I do like a lot of things about this phone. I do have a full review and kind of me talking about this phone and how it was made and stuff like that. So if you are interested, then, just go on my channel, and it will be on my channel probably from about 8 or 9 months ago. It does have a pop-up camera, and I did sell this for, I believe, 159 bucks when I released it. And I do like this phone a lot. Actually, I have 2 of them. So that was the black one. Blue ones, or sort of a blue. I guess you could call this a blue. I forgot what I called this one. Yeah, it's pretty great. I do love that design. I mean, and yeah, I mean, I do love the process of making this phone, and that's probably my favorite thing about it. I love that it has USB-C, also a pop-up camera, obviously, and I do like that it has a big screen and pretty thin bezels. So yeah, another one of my core phones. This was a core phone that probably a lot of you actually don't know. This was almost sort of a prototype, but I did release this. A lot of people don't know about this one. This is probably definitely one of my favorites. that I've made. I think three different models. So I've made Core Phone E, which is right there. And then I made a Core Phone Master Edition, which I did sell that one. And then this one is the regular edition. And I do like this one a lot, just because I sold it for a pretty inexpensive price. And it does have a lot of the features that I feel like a lot of people care about, like a fingerprint scanner. It does have dual cameras. It does have a pretty thin bezels, as well as a 75 hertz screen. Kind of unusual, but definitely makes it feel a lot more smoother. Also, yeah, about the camera. Pretty great camera. I believe it's 12 megapixels. Also, if you're wondering about this, it's because I didn't know what the logo was going to be yet, so I just put that. But I do like this phone a lot. And it actually does have pretty good performance. I've done a few things of gaming on here, and it performs pretty well. So, now moving on, we got a Galaxy A10e locked to Boost Mobile. Now, this is actually still Google locked. I'm still in the process of trying to Google unlock this, and oh my god, it's like torture. So right now, I managed to actually install a launcher on here and somehow get around the Google lock, sort of, but it's not fully Google Unlock. I can't access the Play Store yet, so if I try to sign in here, then let's see, it'll just say checking info, and it'll say verify password, your phone is factory reset. So still have a bit of problems with that, but I did manage to somewhat Google Unlock it, at least. I mean, you can access the internet and watch YouTube and stuff like that. So it does somewhat work, just not fully. So I'm definitely in the process of figuring this out to get this working, because I think I got this for pretty cheap, and so I did want to fix this. I got this such a long time ago, though. It's like forever ago, so I can't really remember how I got it, but I'm pretty sure I just got it from either a phone lot or e-waste. So yeah. Next one. So we got right here, this is a Moto, I think it's a Moto E2. I think it's an E2 or G2. Sorry. Can't really remember exactly, but because it's been such a long time since I used this one. I like this phone a lot. I have used this as a secondary phone, and actually, I used this as a camera in one of my YouTube videos. I'm pretty sure like 3 years ago, and it was okay. It's not a great camera, actually. It's like 5 megapixels, but it definitely does work for sure, and I do like a lot of things about this. I've had this basically ever since I started my phone collection, essentially. And so I've liked this a lot. I'm probably not going to sell it because it's not really worth anything, but it's definitely a phone that I like a lot. It does have a little crack, but honestly, it's not a bad phone, and I do like the back of it a lot. I feel like more phones should have this just like plain white back, because even though, yeah, it is a bit plain, I think it's pretty sleek. And even though this is plastic, it actually does feel pretty good in the hand. It doesn't like creak or anything like that. So it's not like one of those really like cheap Motorola phones. I mean, it was cheap at the time, but this one doesn't creak or anything like that. So yeah, definitely a good phone that I use, actually. I mean, I have used in the past. I don't use it as much anymore, but I have used as a secondary phone in the past. So next, this is a Moto X, first generation. So I like this phone a lot as well. The screen is so like, has very high pixels per inch, and I like the screen quality is very good, is what I'm trying to say. It is on AT&T, just realized, and I don't really use this phone a lot, honestly, and I didn't even use this as really a secondary phone, just because the screen size is a little bit too small to use as a secondary phone. I mean, there are some that I would use as a secondary phone, but also the design kind of like, even though I like it a lot, and I do like this carbon fiber design, it does kind of pick up a lot of scratches and a lot of, I mean, you can kind of tell a lot of nicks and stuff like that. But I do like this phone a lot. So yeah. Next up, Samsung Galaxy J3. Oh, this one's on. Cool. So this one, trying to get the IMEI on here, because I am going to actually sell this one, or try to. I don't really have any use for this phone. I've had it for a long time. It is a good secondary phone, I will say, but there's not too much about this phone that I really use, or it's a bit too slow for a secondary phone. And I do like it a lot. It is on One UI 9 and has an okay camera, I guess, but it's not something that I'm going to use. It has micro USB, and actually it does have a headphone jack, so that's cool. But it's just one of those cheap Samsung phones that back in the day was pretty good, but now, I mean, I don't know, it's just okay. So, I mean, the UI is pretty smooth, but once you actually go into some sort of gaming or anything like that, it's definitely a bit challenging on this processor. So, yeah. Next up, we got a Samsung Galaxy S3. I actually have two. This is the first one right here. Is this on? I think I charged it. Oh, it's about to die. Yeah, so this is on. It's all right. I mean, it's pretty good. It's just so slow. Samsung Galaxy S3s are ridiculously slow now, and definitely that's my biggest issue with this phone. I've had this one. I've had these Samsung Galaxy S3s forever, and I don't really have a use case for them because they're just so slow to use, but they're kind of a nice reflection back on how Samsung was, and, you know, the design of their touch, what is it? TouchWiz or whatever. Sorry, I'm sort of blanking on the name. But yeah, I don't use this phone, but I do like the idea of this phone, and it was really good at the time. It was really good. It is a pretty big screen, especially for, like, what is it? I mean, like 10 years ago, or even more than that, probably. And yeah, it's a pretty cool phone. I have a second one here. This one's also fully working, though it is doing this weird blue light thing. It's not turning on, so, but this was working yesterday. I was using this yesterday. It's just as slow as that one over there. Next, we have a Motorola Droid. Pretty sure it is. I actually did use this as a secondary phone. A while ago. It's pretty slow. I do like that the camera is 8 megapixels. And I do kind of like the design. It's very it's almost like the new rugged phones. It has a very similar design to that, honestly. I don't know, this is a pretty, like, solid phone, honestly, in terms of just, like, the design. It feels very sturdy. And there's some cool, oh yeah, there's some weird quirks about it. So, there's an HDMI port here, as well as the charger on the side, which is something you don't typically see on Android phones. I mean, obviously, maybe old Android phones, you will see it more often, but it's still kind of rare. And, yeah, so there's nothing at the bottom, as you can see right there. And the speaker's also at the back side, which is something that was pretty common back in the day, but still kind of cool to see now. It does have a removable back. I don't think this is on. No, I haven't charged this in a while. So, yeah, pretty cool phone, though. Oh, this phone. I've used this a lot, too. This is a Moto E, I'm pretty sure. Moto E. I think the first one, pretty sure. And I really like this case. Really like this case. I've used this a lot. Also have filmed YouTube videos with this. Probably like 3 or 4 YouTube videos. It's okay. It's actually not... It's not the best camera, but it is really fun. It's a fun phone to use. It's not even slow now. It's like... It's pretty fast, honestly. Even though it is on, like, Android 5 or something like that, it is a really fun phone to use. I've loved this phone. It's a very compact size, but it's not, like, so small where you can't, like, use it. I just love this Moto phone, man. I mean, and the case is just so cool. I've had this for a pretty long time. No screen cracks or anything like that. Screen's not great. It's not, like, a great phone. It's just, like, more of a fun phone. And, yeah, I just really like this phone. So, yeah, there we go. And actually, I didn't even realize that. It does have a front-facing camera. That's kind of cool. It's probably pretty bad, but yeah. Oh, and this is a pretty interesting phone. This is an HTC phone. I'm kind of blanking on the name here. I knew I was going to blank on this one. I was trying to figure out which one this was. But what I will say is that I absolutely love the design. One of my favorite parts is this kickstand right here. That is so cool to have in a phone. Really, really cool. Speaker on the back, as well as, once again, HDMI port and charging right there. It's so cool that they had HDMI ports. Pretty uncommon, and it does have a removable back. And yeah, really like this design, honestly. It's a bit ugly, but I do kind of like how there's like the red ring and, you know, it does have some red accents on it. Actually, kind of cool. If you open up the back, I think the whole inside of the phone, like right here, is red. It's so cool. It's really, really cool. So, yeah. It's 1500 milliamp hour battery, which is not great, but I really like that design. It's really cool. And, yeah, there we go. Next, we have an HTC Evo, I think. Or I'm pretty sure it's an Evo or... oh, wait. Maybe HTC. Okay. Anyways, it's one of these HTC phones, but I do like that there's, like, aluminum or, like, metal on the back. It's so cool. Love this design. One of my favorite designs in any of my phones. It is on T-Mobile, and it does have a removable back at the bottom. But, yeah, it's a pretty cool phone. This is a Samsung phone, and the coolest things about this Samsung phone is, boom, physical keyboard. Not something you see, especially in phones that are working. This phone works. Like, this is a phone that fully works now. I mean, it's not on right now, but it does fully work. I used this about a month or two ago, and it's pretty cool that, you know, there's stuff like this that still somehow functions. It barely functions, but it does function, so pretty cool. Oh man, we got so many phones. So this is another, I'm pretty sure, this is a cheaper version of this phone, pretty sure. So this is like almost the cheaper version of Moto X. I'm pretty sure this is the first Moto G, and it's pretty cool. I like this phone a lot. I don't really use it too much, but it is kind of a cool phone. But I more use this phone. So, or if I really do want to use, you know, this, then I'll more just use that because it's a better version of this. So, yeah. This is this is the HTC Evo. So it has 2 cameras. First phone, I think, ever with 2 cameras. Really, really cool. It's a 3D camera, so not something that you typically see. And also, interestingly, there's a 3D mode on the actual screen. So something that I'm pretty sure one other phone did in 2018. Right, the Red phone did that. And that did not work out too well. This phone, I don't think sold too much either, but also has a bloating battery. Forgot about that. But it is a pretty cool phone, I will say. It has the charging port up here, which is something you really don't see. Some of these phones have some weird charging port areas. But this is fully working. Obviously, the bloated battery is, you know, whatever, but it does fully work. So, yeah. This I made a video about. This is the UMX phone, a U something. It's just basically like an unbranded phone, and it is terrible. Worst phone I think I've ever used. I could literally chuck this across the room and I wouldn't care because it's an absolutely terrible phone. What I did learn, someone told me in the comments that this is actually stuff that, I guess, phones that they gave out to people who were, I believe, on like sort of social security plans or something like that, or Medicaid. I forgot which one, but pretty interesting. Yeah, it was one of those like government phones, I'm pretty sure, but not a great phone. Terrible phone. I mean, there's nothing good. Screen is probably one of the worst ever. Camera's terrible. I mean, there's nothing great about this phone. Okay, we got a Samsung Galaxy Nexus. There's 2 Nexuses here, I'm pretty sure. This actually might be just called the Nexus, and then this, I'm pretty sure, is the Nexus S, but we'll talk about this. But this is a pretty good phone. It fully works. Yeah, I do kind of like this back design. It does scratch up a little bit, though, as you can see. So, interesting. But, yeah. Also, speaker on the back. Not too special of a phone. This one I have made a video about. Pretty sure this is the Nexus S, and it's a pretty bad phone. I mean, it works, but it's very slow. I mean, most of these old phones are expected to be slow, but yeah, these are slow. This is a pretty crappy Virgin Mobile phone. Kyocera, sorry. Kyocera phone. I've never liked Kyocera phones, honestly. I've owned a few, I'm pretty sure, besides this one. And, yeah, I mean, this is kind of cool, though, that it does have a sliding keyboard. Besides that, not too special of a phone. This, I did a drop test video on. This is an LG, this is a really bad LG phone. There's this phone that's very similar to this, that's the LG 306G, but this is like the square version. I think it's like, this is like an 840 or something like that, I forgot. Completely destroyed this phone. I don't think this works. If you see my video, completely do a drop test because this is a pretty crappy phone, you know, why not? This is an LG phone that I think I've had ever since I started this phone collection. Yeah, not too special. Sliding keyboard. It does work, I'm pretty sure. Does it plug in through? Pretty sure it plugs in through. Oh, that's interesting. I think I have the charger for this somewhere, but I have not attempted to try because there's not really a point. It's not like a phone that I'm going to use. Was this the charging port, actually? Maybe that's why, because I was thought it would be... No, that's... Okay. Well, either way, that's that phone right there. Now we're moving on to the iPhones. Yeah, as you can see, I have mostly Android phones. I used to have a lot more iPhones. I just basically sold all of them. But I do have a few left. This is an iPhone 6. It is iCloud locked, but I did technically unlock it. You can go on the home screen and, you know, do some basic functions with it, but you can't do things like download anything off the App Store. So basically makes this useless. Can't sell it because it's like really worth nothing, but yeah, I mean, it's fine. Camera's okay. iPhone 5S. I do use this sometimes. I did make a video on this recently. It's a pretty good phone. I mean, it's a 5S, you know, so it's pretty good. And yeah. Then this is an iPhone 4. I thought I had a 4S somewhere, but I guess I'm wrong. This is an iPhone 4. And this, I'm attempting to sell. I don't think I'm going to be able to really sell it, though. Has a home button that doesn't work, and also it has a crack on the back, huge crack on the back. So it's whatever. I mean, it works. It's pretty cool to see, you know, this. I have made a video, I'm pretty sure, on this phone, but I thought I had a 4S somewhere, but I must have sold it or something like that. But yeah, that is the end of my phone collection. I know it was kind of a longer video than most, but I have a lot of phones. So yeah, let me know which one is your favorite out of all of these, and see you guys in the next one. Peace.